"Sign it," the man said proudly, sitting beside his blonde mistress in court. But what no one expected was that the black woman sitting quietly across from him was about to turn that divorce into the most humiliating defeat of his life. The courtroom was cold, its silence broken only by the scratching of a pen. Jasmine watched her husband, Robert, a smug smile playing on his lips as he held hands with his mistress, Jessica. This was it, the final act of a long, painful play. Jessica, the woman who had spent months chipping away at Jasmine's self-worth, mocking her skin tone, her accent, her very being, now sat there like a queen on a stolen throne. Both of them, so sure they had one. Robert signed the divorce papers with a flourish, using a golden pen he'd probably bought with their shared money. "Freedom," he whispered to Jessica, loud enough for the sound to carry across the room. Jessica's smirk widened. She leaned in, her voice dripping with venom, and said, just loud enough for Jasmine to hear, "Now Robert can finally have a woman who fits his lifestyle." A ripple of stifled laughter went through the public gallery. It felt like a physical blow, but Jasmine didn't flinch. She didn't cry, she simply smiled. A calm, quiet smile that held a world of secrets. Because what they didn't know, what they couldn't possibly comprehend, was that the game was already over, and she'd already won. For months, Jasmine had played her part to perfection. She was the perfect broken wife. She cooked his favorite meals, smiled through his thinly veiled lies, and pretended not to notice the late-night texts and the lingering scent of another woman's perfume on his clothes. She was a ghost in her own home, patiently waiting. But behind that vacant smile, a storm was brewing. She was working with Dr. Leon, a shark in a tailored suit, one of the most feared and respected divorce lawyers in the city. While Robert thought she was mourning their marriage, she was building a fortress of evidence. Every secret message, every clandestine bank transfer, every single recording of Robert's betrayal was meticulously collected and organized. She had proof of him funneling money from their joint business into accounts for Jessica. She had recordings of him promising Jessica the world, a world built on the ashes of his life with Jasmine. The night before the court date was the final test of her resolve. Robert slept peacefully beside her, snoring softly, completely unaware of the tidal wave about to crash down on his life. Jasmine lay awake, watching him, a single tear tracing a path down her cheek. But it wasn't a tear of sadness. It was a tear of release. She leaned over and whispered into the darkness, a promise to herself, "Tomorrow you'll finally learn who you married." Back in the courtroom, Judge Martinez, a man whose face was etched with the stories of 1,000 broken families, looked down at the documents before him. He adjusted his glasses and peered at Robert over the rims. "Mr. Williams," he said, his voice slow and deliberate, "the document you've just signed agrees to give your wife, Mrs. Williams, 80% of all shared assets and lifetime alimony. Is that correct?" The smug smile on Robert's face evaporated. What? No, that's not the document I signed." His voice cracked, a mixture of confusion and rising panic. Jessica shot to her feet, her perfectly made-up face contorting in disbelief. "Robert, what is this? What did you do?" Dr. Leon rose calmly, her presence filling the room with an unshakable authority. "Your Honor," she announced, her voice clear and strong, "my client, Jasmine Williams, is not only the victim of infidelity but also of marital fraud, unauthorized fund transfers, and corporate embezzlement." Before Robert could protest, Dr. Leon pressed a button on a small device. Suddenly, Robert's own voice filled the silent courtroom, amplified for all to hear. It was a recording from one of his calls with Jessica. "Jessica's right. I'm done with Jasmine. She's getting nothing. I'll make sure of it." "All this is for you, baby," the public gallery gasped. The judge's face darkened like a thundercloud. He slammed his gavel down, the sharp crack echoing like a gunshot. "Enough!" "The humiliation was just beginning," Dr. Leon continued, projecting evidence onto a large screen for the entire court to see. Photo after photo flashed by. Jessica on lavish vacations in the Maldives, Jessica dripping in diamonds, Jessica driving a new sports car all paid for with money Robert had secretly siphoned from their company, the company Jasmine had helped build from the ground up. Bank statements appeared, showing massive transfers to accounts in Jessica's name. Jessica's hands began to shake uncontrollably. The color drained from her face, leaving her looking pale and gaunt. All the smugness, all the arrogance was gone, replaced by pure, unadulterated fear. The judge turned his furious gaze on Robert. "Mr. Williams," he thundered, his voice booming with righteous anger, "you have not only defrauded your wife, a partner in both life and business, but you have conspired to humiliate her publicly in my courtroom. You have shown a staggering lack of character and integrity." He paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. "Therefore, I hereby rule that 100% of the marital assets, including the company you attempted to defraud, are awarded to Mrs. Williams." Jessica let out a choked sob. Robert was frozen, a statue of shock and disbelief. He stared at the golden pen still on the table, the pen he had so proudly used to sign away his marriage. The very instrument he thought was his key to freedom had just sealed his own destruction. Jasmine watched him, not with triumph, but with a quiet sense of closure. The war was over. 6 months passed. The courtroom drama faded into a distant memory, but its impact rippled outward. Jasmine didn't just take the money and retreat, she used it. She poured her heart, her intellect, and her newfound freedom into creating a new company, a successful diversity and education consultancy. Her mission was to empower women, especially women of color who had been underestimated and marginalized, helping them rebuild their lives after betrayal and hardship. She became a beacon of hope for others who felt broken. One afternoon, as she was leaving her new, gleaming office building, she saw him. Robert was standing across the street, looking thin and worn. He approached her hesitantly. "Jasmine," he whispered, his voice hoarse. I'm sorry." Jasmine looked at the man who had tried to shatter her. There was no anger left, only a calm sea of peace. She offered him a soft, genuine smile. "Don't be sorry, Robert," she said, her voice filled with a strength he had never recognized. "You didn't break me. You built me." And with that she turned and walked away, her head held high. As she disappeared into the bustling city crowd, everyone who witnessed the exchange knew Jasmine Williams didn't just win a court case. She had won back her freedom, her dignity, and had forged a legacy all her own. Thank you for watching this story unfold. If you were inspired by Jasmine's journey, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories. We'll see you in the next one.